Three, two, one, and we're live. Are we live? We're live. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, Fabulites. This is Angela, and I am coming to you with a review of a documentary. It's 2017 documentary of Grace Jones, called Grace Jones, Bloodlight, and Bami. And I did not know that it was in the theaters. It was at the art house here. Hey, welcome in the chat. I don't know if I'm gonna. I didn't see it tonight because I was at the movies. You think I should? Was it worth watching? When I saw that it was coming back, I was like, oh, Basketball Wives. Good night. I don't know if you mean good night as in bye or good night as in good evening. Good evening. I think you should. Okay, I'll check out an episode. I'll do a recap of an episode and figure out if it's gonna be too much drama for me or not. So this is Grace Jones, Bloodlight, as in good evening. Yeah, yay! This is Grace Jones, Bloodlight, and Bami. And I guess Bami is, or Bami, I don't know how you pronounce it, but it's a kind of bread that people eat in Jamaica. And I guess Bloodlight is when you're recording in the studio, the light is called the bloodlight. I think maybe the red light that lets you know you're recording. I'm not really sure. It was not clear to me from the movie, but I happened to look at a couple of other reviews to try to, understand what I missed from the other reviews. So that's how I gathered that information. So I guess the first thing that I need to say is that I really don't know anything more about Grace Jones now than I knew about her before I saw the movie. It's not the type of documentary that's like she was born in this year and this is kind of upbringing she had, and then this is what started her on her modeling career, and then from modeling this is how she got from modeling to music, and now this is what she does, and she's had children along the way, and this is who she's married to. It wasn't that. So I didn't know very much about Grace Jones coming in, and I didn't know very much about Grace Jones coming out. Now, I did have the impression that Grace Jones was very dramatic. And so in the context of this film, I didn't get the impression of her as dramatic at all. I got the impression of her as a very dramatic performer. I got the impression of her as having a strong artistic sense of herself, a strong voice, in terms of how she expresses herself, but not like dramatic for the sake of drama. Like I watched some, like it seemed like MTV or VH1 or something was doing some type of documentary on Nicki Minaj. Like they were following her around. And like even when she was like sitting backstage with her people, she seemed very dramatic. She would be an intense person to be around. I did not get that impression of Grace Jones at all. And then the other thing that sort of surprised me, now they never said she had a twin brother, but the person I was with said she had a twin brother. For whatever reason, I don't know if it's just like the propaganda or what people say. I had this impression of Grace Jones as like very masculine. But having seen the movie, I don't really have that impression of her anymore, particularly when I looked at her twin brother. The way his body was made up, his voice, his comportment, she seemed very feminine next to him to me. And even before I had that juxtaposition, she kind of seemed like a girly girl to me. Not like a girly girl, but I mean, I definitely see her as a strong woman, but I like, for whatever reason, like just watching her, and again, maybe I'm just having different eyes or whatever. She didn't seem masculine to me. She is dark skinned. She does have strong features. And I think sometimes I've been trained in this society to see people who are dark skinned with strong features as masculine, particularly if they're a woman. But, I thought she was just very striking, and like her legs. I mean, I don't know if she's known for her legs, but it's like, oh my gosh, look at those legs. And then there were like a couple moments when you could see her body, and it was just like, wow. I mean, I think from the little shot, like we got one shot of her actually like naked, but it was like through a door, but like it's like her body, the to me, just the slight impression I got. I know this is neither here nor there, but she looked way better naked than clothed. And I mean, she looked great clothed, especially when you consider, that I think she's probably in her 50s when this was filmed, maybe more than that. I think she's like around her 70s now. She seems very vibrant and alive, and she felt very like down to earth and accessible. Like she came across as a very nice woman. The way the movie was organized, there were a couple of themes that went throughout. One was a concert that she seemed to be giving. Perhaps it was in Ireland, but I thought it was in Paris the whole time. And it was a huge concert venue that she was performing in. And she was performing the hell out of that concert. Like I just like, yes, I was here for it. Like I felt like it was a show and like I was here for it. And then like I guess she's known for headpieces. She had all of these fabulous headpieces that we saw throughout the film. But even in that piece, she's like in a black leotard, and at various times she has no headpiece or different headpieces, and they do the laser light show, and it was just like, yes, yes, give us show. It was like she was giving show. And I even thought there was a time when she performed Amazing Grace. When she performed that song, which I think is like think of as like a classical gospel song, her voice sounded really nice to me. Now, the person I was with was like, he didn't care for her voice. But hey, True Royal Family, but I thought she had a really nice voice. In her songs, I don't think of her as having a nice voice. But in that little when she did Amazing Grace, I was like, oh, she sounded like somebody who could be singing in the church to me. Now, when her mama got up and sang in the church, I was like, oh, yes, ma'am. Oh, I mean, and that's when he said, oh, we see where she got her singing voice from. I'm like, what? Grace Jones sounded beautiful to me when she did Amazing Grace. So you have this juxtaposition of her performing in this venue, and we probably got 10 scenes of that throughout the movie. And we also have scenes of her with her family in Jamaica, and we probably had maybe 5 or 10 scenes of that throughout the movie. We had some scenes of her in the studio recording, I believe, an album. I think somebody said, I think I read someplace that it was Hurricane, but you could not tell from the movie what was going on, when was when, and where was where. I could kind of tell when she was in Jamaica because the only time that I saw her around black people was when she was with her family. And the same pattern that I've seen with other black folks, like this lightening the race or whitening the race, or Grace was the business. She used to wild out in the 70s and 80s. She's calmed down. Right. That's what he was saying. He was like, I'm like, I didn't get the impression of her as wild at all. Now I got the impression that she gave one hell of a show. I mean, I was just like, here, even in the movie through the screen, I just felt like, oh my gosh, she is performing. Like I was really appreciative of it. But and she was almost always around white people, at least the footage that we had, that we saw. And then even her, I guess she only had a son. I thought she had a son and a daughter, but both of the younger people that I saw her with, that I thought were her children, looked like they were biracial. Somehow along the way, I got the impression that there was this white man in the film that had been her husband. Her son, who was considerably lighter than her, had a child with a woman who appeared to be white. It was like she's still out. So it was like the lightening. Some people say improving the race or the whitening of the race. It was like you could really see that. And it's like, have we ever seen, who do we know who has darkened the race, like generation by generation? Their children get darker and darker and more African. And did we ever see that? So that was sort of like, I don't know if disturbing was the word, because it definitely caught my attention, but I was really sort of surprised by how much I enjoyed her and I liked her. Like when she got to Paris, she was talking to one of the to the cab driver, and she's basically like, in terms of this wild thing, she like, well, where the party at? And the guy is like, well, it was Easter last weekend and today, or it was Easter over the weekend and today is Monday, so not so many people out. She like, well, regular people still need to party. Like, what is this not partying? And he's like, well, it's different than it was 20 years ago. And you kind of got the impression that some of the places where she was used to going and partying, that people don't party as much anymore. But I also kind of felt like her as a partier, like she didn't seem. It was almost like Like I like to party, but I don't drink and I don't do drugs. So it's like when I'm partying, well, there was this one scene where, and there were visually, there was a lot going on that was visually very interesting. Like there were a lot of shots that could have been stills, like beautiful still shots, like some of the shots in Jamaica, just the images of. Okay, we saw her twin brother during the film, and that's what I was saying, that they didn't announce him as her twin brother. The person who took me told me that was her twin brother, but he was very masculine, and next to him, she didn't seem masculine to me at all. But even before I met him or was conscious of him, she didn't really seem masculine to me. But there was one scene in the movie where the way it was filmed, it was like I couldn't quite make it out. And I think that was supposed to be like her partying. And it seemed kind of wild. And I'm like, is this going to turn into, what is it? What's going on? I don't understand. But everything else was very crisp and clear, and you could see it and you could understand it. But that particular scene, which I think was supposed to represent partying, was not. So I felt like I just spent some time with her. I really enjoyed her. She didn't seem like a wild and crazy partier who would make me feel uncomfortable and like, am I going to be safe hanging out with her? I felt like I could hang out with her and have a good time, and that she was like a cool person. You know what I mean? Like, she didn't seem hostile. She didn't seem in distress. She didn't seem disoriented. She didn't seem in pain. I liked her. So I don't know much more about Grace Jones, having seen the movie, than I did before, and I know nothing about her before. But I would recommend it. I thought it was like a really interesting. I thought it was a really interesting piece. So that's it. That's what I got. That's Grace Jones, Bloodlight, and Bami, and I love her piece. I loved her switching in and out of, the Jamaican patois, like her, I loved linguistically how her voice changed and her cadence changed. Um, and I love seeing her like handle business, there was one scene where I guess she showed up someplace. Oh, okay. Well, that's interesting because it was a while before, like after a while, I could see her in the twin, but it kind of took me a while to process him that way because I feel like she's a woman and he's a man. And like, I don't know why I thought Grace Jones was so masculine, but like, I just didn't experience her as that way at all. So when I saw the brother, I'm like, well, that's a man. And when I saw her, I'm like, that's a woman. We saw her brother in church. We saw her mother in church. I loved her headgear, and I loved her just sense of style, like her strength of personal vision. I like somebody who has, this is me and what. So yeah, that was it. You know, I had, it was some moments of challenge for me, but I enjoyed the movie. I'm glad that I saw it, and I guess I would recommend it. I thought it was interesting. I think, she's interesting, and I don't know if I would like go out of my way, like, oh, let me research Grace Jones, but I might go out of my way and like throw some Grace Jones music on and become more familiar with it, because some of the stuff I've heard, pull up to the bumper, baby. But I don't know if the rest of her music, I don't know if there was anything else in there that was familiar. I have to think back on it. But hey, the real Aaron Collins. So yeah, I might, listen to her music. I don't know if I like go research her or anything, but I might. And if another opportunity came up to learn more about her, I'd probably be more inclined. Because before I just thought she was like, ha, 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 and I was kind of like, okay. But now I feel like she cool. I like Miss Grace Jones. You heard a little bit of her story. So anyway, that's it. I don't know if it's playing in your town. I think it's just here in Detroit for a week. So probably if you like someplace like New York, it might be at I don't know. Dang, I can't remember the theater I used to go see a lot of movies at in on like uh dang, I want to say 14th Street, but no, it wasn't in 14th Street, it was lower. But yep, That's it. Like, share, comment, subscribe, and all of that other good stuff. I just looked. It's in San Francisco. Okay. I've been good. I've been good. I took Brother Yapo's advice and put my feet on the earth after spending some time with the tourists. So, and I gotta consciously get me some grounding practices going. So I'm putting my feet in some salt water, some Epsom salts. Is the stream over already? I know I just started. I wasn't really doing a stream. I just opened the stream to record the movie review. And I get concerned if I do a movie review, which is really only like 5 minutes long, but then the video is like 80 minutes long. But yeah, I'm wondering who's doing a stream tonight. Although I got plenty to do if I'm gonna be up. It was called Grace Jones Bloodlight Bami. So when you come into the stream, you can't see the title or the thumbnail or anything. Because I notice on a lot of streams, people are like, what we talking about? And sometimes people's titles will be like, yo, 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 but sometimes it's like very specific. So on my thing, I can see it or I look for it. I don't know. Because then, yeah, just like we done changed subjects, the stream could be any old thing. You never know. You never know. You never know. But anyway, yep, that's Grace Jones. That's it. That's what I got. Yes. I have no idea what that means, but I'm all here for yes. Oh, I just looked at the title. She had a movie. Yes. Yes. Okay. All right. You say I don't even, that's how I am too sometimes. If it's somebody who streams I go to, I just go to the stream. It don't really matter what they talking about. I'm just like, I'm here for you. I'm here to hang out with y'all. What's up? What's up, fam? What we talking about? What's going on? What we doing? Is it a TV movie? No, I saw it at the theater. 17, is that what time it is? Her brother is Noel Jones. Noel. Yeah. And then there was this one song she had where she was talking about, she sort of, when we saw her with her family, she talked about the Joneses, as in her father's family. And she's like, I'm not a Jones, I'm a this too. And then the music changed, and there were some really interesting things with that particular show. And that theater was beautiful too. I don't know where it was, but he's a pastor here in LA. Somebody said that. And it seemed like when we saw him, he was preaching in in Jamaica. So I don't know if she goes back and forth. Oh, get out of here. I saw the pastors of Detroit, but if I saw the pastors of LA, I didn't know. He goes all over the world preaching, especially in Africa. And I think her daddy was a preacher man. So I guess that's in their bloodline. She has a ministry. Yep, they are twins. I visited his church 5 years ago. Okay. Yeah. And I just think, and also when I was looking at her face, I couldn't quite piece it together. But how'd you like it, church? It's even do. I couldn't quite piece it together, but I feel like she looks like they probably look like somewhere like in Africa. Like, it's like I've seen people who look like her features, and it's called Grace Jones Bloodlight and Bami. It's a documentary, and if you Google 2017, it comes up, but I mean 2018, but I think it's a 2017 documentary. But yeah, and yeah, let me know what you think when you see it. Shoot me over a comment. Is anybody here a fan of her music? Has anybody followed her? And I must have seen her in Boomerang. Was it Boomerang? I may do a stream tonight. I need the family's energy. Yeah, do a stream right now, and I'll get off and go over to your stream. All right. You got a topic, or just feed me? Feed me. Let's chat. Let's kick it. What time is it? Who's going to the stream? I am. Open the stream. The real Aaron Collins. Is there a fake Aaron Collins out there? I'll be there. I'll be there. Just call my name and I'll be there. Oh, me, baby. I'll be there. He might already be gone to set it up. I'll be there. Grace's 80s music. Okay, yeah, I might pull up her on YouTube and see what I come across. But anyway, that's what I got. Like, share, comment. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Don't make me cut through that screen and get you. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it. Today is the best day ever, and you are the greatest. So be you. Be fabulous. Be fabulous you. My mom used to always buy her music, so I grew up listening to her music. Yes, A View to Kill, Conan the Destroyer, Boomerang, etc. Those must be films that she was in. Yeah, it was interesting because it seemed like, I guess if there were like 10 fans, you might see one black person there, one or two black people, but it seemed like overwhelmingly, but it seemed like overwhelmingly, at least in this film, there really weren't a lot of black folks that I could identify. I'd be looking for us. Where we at? Where we at? And my friend said the black people didn't really support her. There was this one scene where it was like a shot of the audience, and they were like, people were like, yeah. And then there were two little black girls, probably like 12. She had a lot of white flowers, and they were just sitting there like, what in the, and I guess their mother or whoever took them was there, and she was, but they did not seem to appreciate it, at all. But I was impressed. I'm like, I go to a concert. She was putting on a show, and she has an eye. She has a cave beast. She was in Boomerang with Eddie Murphy. She played the character Strange. Yep, I vaguely remember that. But I think, is that the same movie that Eartha Kitt was in? I think I remember Eartha Kitt's character more. She was trying to get with him. Because I was like, oh yeah, and then I was like, oh no, that was Eartha Kitt. And then my friend was like, well, what's her face? Grace Jones was in that too. I'm like, oh, I kind of sort of remember, but Strange, like not strange, but Strange, Strange. Yes, Grace. Yeah, I think she's beautiful. So, all right, open up your stream. You gonna open up your stream? Just hit 1 for yes. You don't even have to type in YES. Just hit 1.